Hi, Anne. So good to
Hi,
see you
Laura.
today.
You too. Oh my gosh, it's always a treat.
I'm
Thank
so
you for
excited.
agreeing to talk to me.
I know it's like my visit with Anne and not like Laura's podcast, Laura's videos.
Yeah,
But it's so
you're
good to
good
see you.
company. You're really good company.
Thank you.
Always have lots going on up here, which I really appreciate. I wanted to ask you about this one podcast that you did, which was about gray divorce.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
how do you define gray divorce?
So what's so interesting and why I wanted to really highlight gray divorce these days is um it is people always ask who's getting divorced because people worry about that, right? They get married
Mhm.
and they're really worried about it. The the demographic that is getting divorced now are people in the ages 55 and older.
Mhm.
That's where since the pandemic, it's increasing and it's increasing a lot. It's also the demographic that's getting the most STIs, just saying.
I know there's advertisements for that in the subway. I'm like, oh, hi, good morning. I'm having
Yeah.
my coffee. I'm like, yeah, a lifetime of this. Yes.
Yeah, it's
Things,
it's so
things
interesting.
last a lifetime or
Oh,
whatever. Like it's two people with gray hair kissing on the beach. I'm like, great. That's really encouraging for me. But I am a person who has had a gray divorce. So
oh,
I'm in
yeah,
that category.
that's right.
I have a son who's now 20
Right.
who is doing really, really well. But
Good.
I will say that, the experience of that was very hard for him. He was in middle school when it happened.
Right.
And
So,
yeah, it was
ve-
really difficult for him.
very difficult time. We have a great deal of capacity for um, young children
Mhm.
through high school. What we don't, what I've noticed is that courts, therapists, the parents, communities, we talk about young children through high school, but we don't talk about as much college and older. And I've had many
Right.
young adults or adults whose parents are getting divorced. And so that to me, um, oh my gosh, I've had probably half a dozen clients who are young adults whose parents maybe 40s, depending on their age, right? Maybe 50s who are getting divorced. And it's really difficult.
Yeah,
And
this
it's
idea of them as this couple that's, it's never gonna, it's fixed, a,
right.
a fixed idea fixe, right? And so you grow up with it, you depend on it. This is how it is. These two, people are my rock,
Hmm.
mostly, or my world, and this is how I
Right.
understand the world through the way they are together. And then
Right.
all of a sudden, already out in the world, but then this can feel, I guess, maybe like something being pulled out from under you.
Sure. Very much. You've articulated it perfectly. Yeah. That's the experience. They don't and because they're older, even their parents think, well, you should be able to deal with this. You're
Yeah.
not going between two homes. You have your own apartment. What's mad? And then they the parents overshare about their dating. I mean, even my older children don't want to hear about my dating. They have no interest in my dating. They don't want to know. So I'm very sensitive to that. And parents don't understand that. I had one woman in her 30s whose parents were getting divorced. And the emotional hit was not of a 30-year-old. The emotional hit was of a 8-year-old,
Mm.
a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old. It's incredibly painful. And we don't recognize that. So for me, putting my shingle out as a life coach for adults whose parents were going through this gray divorce
Hmm.
was really important because I felt like their needs weren't being met.
One thing you talked to me about as a as I was working on my own healing journey, is family systems.
Mhm.
Is this your 6-year-old speaking to you? Is this the impulsive 15-year-old? Is this the
Mhm.
20-year-old? Is this the wise woman? Like which part of the family system are you acting out of?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for those of us who may also have had difficult childhoods with our parents, it can
Mhm.
be even more fraught because there's a lot of unresolved issues that maybe we haven't even. So I guess it can just sort of open Pandora's box, right?
Well, it destabilizes everything, and let's say, this happens way too frequently. The moneyed spouse might have been dad, and
Mhm.
mom had been a stay-at-home woman,
Mhm.
mom, and then there's a divorce. Typically, there's an affair, um, and then typically, in this scenario, my story here, mom doesn't have as much money, and so where's mom going to live?
Right, the anxiety about the
That's right.
the lesser financially successful parent
Right.
survival.
And not just that, it's like these are the things that I notice a lot of. Where are they going to live? Right? There's less money for retirement, and chances are fewer years to earn money, which we've talked a lot about.
Yeah.
And having to really uh, navigate past decisions through that decision, right? Like the regrets, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. And then does one of those parents move in with the child who probably has their own career, their own children? They're already maxed out raising kids and possibly even financially strapped because saving for college or whatever, right? So it is.
Wow.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's complicated.
It's very complicated. Yeah, it's complicated. That's right. And so, and there's a grieving that has to happen even while you have to get your own children up and out the door. And again, if you've learned how to be married at the knees of your parents and your parents have now split up after so many years together, it's really tough.
So it's not just being a sandwich generation where they may be at end of life and you've got small children and you're
Mhm.
taking care of both.
Mhm.
Here, we're talking about a life experience that's destabilizing,
Mhm.
asking you to also be sandwiched between the sudden concerns of a parent or both parents and then running career family. So that's why I say it seems very complicated, and I
And
would
we
love
haven't we
to have
haven't
someone
brought
to
in
do about that.
right. And we haven't brought in their dating
Hmm.
or potentially a new additional step parent. Or I have a client right now whose mom is they're elderly. We would consider elderly. They would not consider themselves elderly, but they're chronologically
Up there.
i- up there and remarried. And the children who are all in their 50s and 60s are having a really hard time adapting to this new partner of their mothers.
Wow.
And it doesn't matter chronologically how old you are. These
Yeah.
things take a toll emotionally.
Right, because it's a primary bond.
It's a primary bond. There's tremendous fear and judgment and concern and also watching. You know how it is when you people pair up, Anne. You're like, oh wow, look at that part of Anne that's coming out with this person. Or look at that
Mm.
part of Laura coming out dating this person. And now
Mhm.
imagine that with mom and dad,
Yeah.
right? Like, wow, doesn't look like my kids. Wow, dad's not really dad, you know.
Yeah.
So,
So when you coach this particular demographic, this group, the idea I think you had mentioned earlier is to help them build a sense of resiliency.
well, resilience for sure. I think in all of my coaching, I bring resilience and resourcefulness into every conversation because whether so let's just put this in really broad terms. Life will throw things at you, whether you're an actor, whether you're going through a divorce, whether you're a parent, whether you're an employee or an employer, like life, being human, you're going to have stuff thrown at you.
What
So,
happens while you're making other plans?
exactly. So, learning how to adapt and learning how to um, accept, not just tolerate, but accept, to pivot. I like to use a lot of business metaphors. To be agile and pivot when you are forced to make a decision
Mhm,
requires tremendous confidence and self esteem and resilience and
mhm,
resourcefulness. And we all have it within us. Just some of us have honed it more than others.
mhm.
So I bring that to all of my coaching. I I really encourage people to um, put their experience in. I used to coach when I coached you, it was 10,000, 30,000 foot view, right? Like
Mhm.
big perspective, right? Because sometimes when we are stuck looking through the straw at the turd in the grass,
Yeah.
we can't see, we can't think, we can't imagine, we don't know how to adapt,
Mhm.
how to pivot, how to keep moving. And so I bring that into every thing I do, everything.
Well, you're talking about flexibility, which is a good metaphor for anti-aging too, because the found in a way, being youthful can allow for suppleness of mind and body.
Mhm. Mhm.
So reminding people who are dealing with this about
Mhm.
be supple, how
Well,
to go about that.
to keep the mind flexible, to
Mhm.
keep the mind and body flexible, right? That is going to keep us youthful. It's going to help us feel resilient.
Mhm.
It's going to help us adapt. And whether you're dealing with your parents going through divorce or your child being sick or not getting the job you wanted and whatever it might be, or having your heart broken again, um, you know, you you need to pick yourself up again. You do. I have a client right now really struggling with waking up and putting a smile on her face and getting through the day. And I said to her, well, you're doing it.
Right.
You're doing it. It might not look the way you wanted it. It might not feel the way you wanted to, but you're doing it. And, you know, that that strength, that inner strength is really important for me to help instill in clients. And
I think what you do is you provide, as a coach, you provide a witness as well.
mm,
I
I
think
like that.
that a lot of people suffer from loneliness through these processes of divorce, or being a child
Hmm.
in divorce, or
Hmm.
actor who's dealing with a lot of rejection.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like I'm alone and I don't matter and I'm invisible.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the human condition, but it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to feel that way. I know you felt that and I have felt that. And so I do this coaching and um I try to model the resilience and resourcefulness. And I
You do a
try to
great
thank you. I try to do that for people because I think we need to highlight it and I think we need to um we have to do it. We have to put ourselves there, especially these days. We just have to. Anyway.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I
it's
think that's
taking
our
action. Yeah.
yeah, our cue. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so
Hey,
much
I can't
for
wait.
thank you.
This is wonderful. I
Thank you.
feel I feel more resilient.
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you.